Hello, and in this video I am going to discuss the fourth item in the program of the Party of Socialism and Liberation. And in 2024, the Party of Socialism and for Socialism and Liberation is running Claudia De la Cruz and Karina Garcia as their presidential and vice presidential candidates. And the theme of their campaign is "End capitalism before it ends us," right? And point number 4 of their campaign platform deals with foreign policy. So this is going to be an interesting one. And it says foreign and military policy. And it says here, cut the military budget by 90%, peace, not war with China and Russia. The world is headed towards a catastrophic, unprecedented conflict because of the unmitigated aggressiveness and recklessness of the politicians and Pentagon generals. The new Cold War against China and Russia must end, along with associated aggression like the proxy war in Ukraine, massive military shipments to Taiwan, and any and all military buildup against any targeted nation. The vast network of military bases the Pentagon maintains in other countries should be immediately closed. We demand the abolition of the NATO military alliance and AFRICOM, cruel economic sanctions imposed on countries around the world, including Cuba, Venezuela, Zimbabwe, Eritrea, North Korea, and Iran, must be lifted. All U.S. aid to apartheid Israel must immediately end. The CIA should be abolished, and its secrets exposed so the world knows the true extent of this agency's crimes. And 2, the approximately $1 trillion that the U.S. taxpayers spend every year on war should instead be spent to address the dire crisis facing working people. The price of key goods, especially gas, could be dramatically lowered if the suffocating economic sanctions the U.S. government imposes on countries around the world were lifted. Humanity needs a world order based on cooperation and peace, not domination and war, right? And Party of Socialism and Liberation is not the only people who are saying that the world is headed towards a catastrophic world war. Many are warning this, not just in the revolutionary left or in Marxist circles, in far-right circles too. There is this concern that first it was the war in Ukraine. This side of March of 2022, first it was the war in Ukraine. Now is the Israeli terror war on Gaza, which now is starting to expand to include Lebanon. Israel is pushing to drag Lebanon and Iran into the war. The Houthis in Yemen are involved already, and so it's already this war that started with the assault in Gaza. This war that started on October 7th. It's beginning to expand and become a regional conflagration. And now the war in Ukraine is heating up again with the Zelensky and NATO attacking Belgorod. So the Ukraine war is heating up again. The war in Gaza continues. Lebanon is being dragged in. It's only a matter of time if things go on like this. If Iran gets dragged in, Iran is part of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization since 2023. They have a military alliance with Russia and China. So if Iran gets dragged in, it's the same thing as they have in NATO, Article 5. In the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, they have the same thing, a mutual defense agreement. So if Iran gets dragged into this war, Russia and China are going to get dragged in, and it's going to. Russia is already involved in a proxy war with NATO over Ukraine, but if Iran gets dragged into the war, into this Middle Eastern conflict that Israel is egging on, then you could end up with a world war, which inevitably will result. If things escalate, eventually somebody's going to use a nuclear weapon, and that's the end of it. So that is why Claudia and Karina and the Party of Socialism and Liberation are saying, end capitalism before it ends us. The way to end the danger of nuclear war with China and Russia is to, replace capitalism with another social system, another political economy. Because ultimately, as Lenin explained in, imperialism, the highest the highest stage of capitalism. You know, imperialism is all about war. You know, and I mean, periods of peace are only truces in between episodes of war. And you saw that with World War I and World War II, then the Cold War. Well, the Cold War was different because it was fought against the Soviet Union, but now the Soviet Union is gone. Now you have, for example, the situation today when you have a tripolar world order, when you have, you know, the United States, European Union, and SCO over here, and these powers are angling themselves for a fight because they have to put their own interests, their survival interests first. You know, the economic interests of their particular polities have to be put first, and they're in conflict with others. So, I mean, yeah, I mean, we live in a world of finite resources, so there is competition for scarce resources, and you have three epicenters of power here. They're going to jockey with each other. You know, for now, Europe is allied with the United States, but like Lenin pointed out in imperialism, you know, periods of peace are truces in between periods of war, episodes of war. So, you know, perhaps the European Union, Germany and France are rearming. You know, perhaps the European Union at some point will start also exerting its, you know, interests independently, and then you have a third factor here. You know, so this is why, you know, the PSL is calling for, you know, an end to the social system of capitalism. As they say, the approximately $1 trillion that the United States taxpayers spend every year on war should instead be spent to address the dire crisis facing working people. You know, the price of key goods, especially gas, could be dramatically lowered if the suffocating economic sanctions the US government imposes on countries around the world were lifted. Humanity needs a world order based on cooperation and peace, not domination and war. So, in order to prevent nuclear war, the escalation of all these conflicts in Ukraine and Palestine, Lebanon, whatever, into a nuclear war, it is necessary to replace a system of imperialism, of capitalism, with a world order based on cooperation and peace, not domination and war. Okay, so that's the platform of the Party of Socialism and Liberation for 2024. So, vote for the Party of Socialism and Liberation if you are a person who marched for Palestine in the autumn of 2023, if in October and November of 2023 you took to the streets to chant Free Palestine, ceasefire now, and you were waving Palestinian flags, and you're in the United States and you're entitled to vote in the United States, I appeal to you that Joe Biden does not deserve your vote. Genocide Joe endorses the terror war of Israel against the Palestinians, and there is no ambiguity here. You're either with the Palestinians or you're with, you know, the Israeli terror state. And if you're with the Palestinians, you cannot vote for Joe Biden because Joe Biden endorses the genocide of the Israeli state against the Palestinians. So it's very simple. If you're a person who marched for Palestine and you can vote in the United States, you know, I urge you to vote for the Party of Socialism and Liberation, Claudia De la Cruz and Karina Garcia. If they're not on the ballot, write them in, and ignore all the Democrats down ballot. Ignore the congressional, state, local Democrats. By all means, vote for progressive citizen initiatives and against reactionary or citizen initiatives. By all means, do that. But politically boycott the Democrat Party. Do not vote for Democrats in 2024 because they endorse the genocide of the Palestinians in Gaza. Okay?